The poem that I read was Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. It is broken into 6 stanzas. 3 stanzas have 6 lines, 1 stanza has 7 lines, and there are 2 stanzas that have 8 lines. The structure of the poem is similar to that of a ballad in the way that it flows when it is being read out loud, and in the way that it uses repetition of different words and phrases. Poe employs an irregular rhyme scheme that varies from line to line, but keeps returning to the double E sound rhyming with Lee every odd line of every stanza. Along with the rhyming, every odd line is indented. There are only a few times that Poe's rhyme pattern is broken. One of the times that he breaks the pattern is in the last 4 lines of the last stanza, where Poe repeats the long I sound when he says, "All the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride." He then breaks the pattern again at the end of the poem when he repeats the last 2 lines in a slightly different way. The repeating of the last 2 lines, "In her sepulchre there by the sea," and "In her tomb by the sounding sea," suggests that they are very important. Poe is making it obvious that Annabel Lee has been buried by the seaside, which is a comparison to something that decays and fades over time, just like lost love eventually fades, even if the memory stays. Annabel Lee is written in first person, and it is about a woman whom the narrator loved even through their childhood, and was written about Poe's wife Virginia Eliza Poe, who died 2 years before him. Virginia married Poe when she was 13, which is referred to in line 7 when it says, "I was a child and she was a child."
Ew! That's gross!
Clem died before she reached the age of 25, which would explain why the poem never talks about Annabel Lee growing old. The only time that the age of Annabel Lee and the narrator is mentioned is when the poem talks about them both being children. Another one of the combinations of lines that Poe repeats is "chilling my Annabel Lee" and "chilling and killing my Annabel Lee," which emphasizes the fact that even though she most likely died of tuberculosis, which was common at that time, the narrator believes that something was sent to kill Annabel Lee, and her death was not just an accident, but an act of jealousy, which you see later in the poem. In lines 21 and 22 of stanza 4, Poe says, "The angels not half so happy in heaven went envying her and me." This suggests that everyone who saw the two together, including the angels who lived in heaven, were jealous of the amazing relationship and the deep love that Annabel Lee and the narrator of the poem shared. The last 4 lines of stanza 4 state, "Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee." This shows that the narrator believes the love shared between himself and Annabel Lee was so great the angels in heaven were willing to kill Annabel Lee out of envy. Also, stanza 2, lines 5 and 6, and stanza 3, lines 1 through 4 say, "With the love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee." And these again show that the angels killed her. Other lines in the poem suggest that it was not only the angels that wanted to ruin the relationship. Stanza 3, lines 5 and 6 say, "So that her highborn kinsman came and bore her away from me." Highborn kinsmen could represent the angel of death or the deceased loved ones of Annabel Lee. It could also be taken to mean Annabel Lee's family who wanted to take her away from the narrator and bury her by the sea. In stanza 5, the narrator says, "But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee." This stanza suggests that people who were older and had more experience in love did not understand the relationship that Annabel Lee and the narrator shared, and did not understand how they could be so in love at such a young age. It also suggests that they wanted to ruin the relationship along with the angels above them and the demons that lived beneath them. All of these lines in the poem show the theme of envy in different levels. In the first 4 lines of the last stanza of the poem, Poe says, "For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee." In these lines, Poe is saying that he sees constant reminders of his beautiful Annabel Lee even in the moon. When the narrator looks at the stars, he imagines them as Annabel Lee's eyes looking down and watching over him. The following 2 lines say, "And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my bride." These lines help to show the theme of love in the poem. Even after her death, the narrator never gave up on the love shared between him and Annabel Lee. It showed that he never wanted to leave her side, even after she was gone, when it said that every night the narrator lies down by Annabel Lee's tomb, because even after the many years that had passed, Annabel Lee was still the world to the narrator, and even though they had been physically separated, their souls were still connected, and nothing could tear them apart.